Have you ever wondered what religious freedom truly means for us? Let me tell you. Freedom of religion is a fundamental, often misunderstood right in the U.S. The Declaration of Independence established that unalienable rights, including freedom of conscience, are inherent to all people rather than granted by the government. It protects personal beliefs and worship choices, but its scope and limits continue to spark debate.
We've now come into this third era of neutralism, where instead of focusing on the reasons that religion needs to be different, religion needs to be excluded, government is charged with treating religion neutrally. No better, no worse.
So the original idea was that no one religion there wouldn't be a state religion, and no one religion would be adopted by the country. And so I think that actually has happened. Now we have Christian nationalism, which is a movement against that. But in the demographics, most people practice their religion freely.
The government cannot establish or support an official religion, and individuals are free to practice their beliefs without interference. Despite these protections, conflicts still happen, such as in 2020 when Rastafarian inmate Damon Landor argued that his religious rights were violated after prison officials cut his dreadlocks, which his faith required for him to keep. Similarly, in Torcaso v. Watkins, the Supreme Court ruled that Maryland's requirement that public officials declare belief in God was unconstitutional, confirming that the government cannot force religious beliefs.
It happens all the time that governments at various levels, schools, cities, counties, states, all the way up to the federal government, do things that then conflict with someone's religious beliefs. And the question is, how do we resolve those conflicts? And we have mechanisms in our law that largely requires government that when government takes an action that conflicts with someone's religious beliefs, government has to try to accommodate that person's religious beliefs or that group of people's religious beliefs. So that happens all the time. It's happening every day in our country. And 99% of the time, the government actors work with their religious people and they figure it out and they find an accommodation and then they keep moving. And it's there's very few, 1% of the time or less, that they can't reach a compromise, and then it ends up being something you hear about in the news.
For much of human history, people were denied religious freedom, and many governments punished those who practiced beliefs outside of an official religion. Early colonists came to America to escape this persecution, which strongly influenced the values the nation was founded on. Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration of Independence, believed religion should be a private matter and argued for separation between church and state. These ideas helped shape a government meant to protect individual rights and prevent religious control by the state.
My colleagues, in recent days, Americans of every faith and political persuasion have mobilized in objection to a rule put forward by the Obama administration that constitutes an unambiguous attack on religious freedom in our country. This rule would require faith-based employers, including Catholic charities, schools, universities, and hospitals, to provide services they believe are immoral.
Probably we are further ahead than many countries. Number two, we have a long ways to go with regards to the way that our laws and our culture allows for the inalienable rights to be lived out. We have people saying, some that they would claim to be Christians, saying right now that women should not be allowed to vote anymore. And we have the de facto language online by many, many people decrying that LGBTQ+ are not human, that people of certain races are less human, and fortunately, for the most part, at least constitutionally, our law doesn't affirm that. But there will always, in my opinion, there will always be a gap between what the ideal of that constitutional statement was and where we are. I think our challenge is to see that gap lessen.
That religion is good and atheism and non-religion is bad. And so religion is always good and non-religion is always bad. And there's a little bit of that still lingers. And one of the problems I see, and this is in answer to your question, is we have to appreciate that religion can be good, but can also be dangerous.
Religious traditions being practiced on the other. Even among the European settlers or the English settlers, there was a remarkable range of diversity The Anglican Church was the established church in the Church of England, and of course it became the established church by default in the Virginia colony. But it wasn't only Anglicans, and even Anglicans didn't agree on everything. There were also Puritans here, there were Catholics, there were some Jews, there were Quakers who began to appear even in the earliest decades. And this kind of dynamic was part of the diversity that began to develop in terms of people learning to get along with each other and how do you negotiate the spaces in a colonial setting.
As the United States approaches its 250th anniversary, freedom of religion remains an important issue. If America wants to honor the promises made in the Declaration of Independence, it must continue to protect the religious rights of all people. Freedom of religion is not just about faith. It is about fairness, liberty, and staying true to the values that define American democracy.